Hi angels, it's Hailey Reese, and today's video is a video that I've been meaning to make for the longest time. As you guys know, here on my channel, I'm pretty anti-Ouija board. I've had some terrifying experiences. You guys have probably seen my video about my friend Mona and what happened to her when she played with the Ouija board and I was in the presence of it. My grandma's had a terrifying experience. Just my whole entire family has always warned me that Ouija boards are not something to mess around with and that I should heavily advise anybody who's interested in looking into Ouija boards or wanting to play with one to not do so. But obviously I also believe in the freedom of choice, and whatever anybody chooses to do in their lifetime, I am like the least judgmental person. I allow people to go on their own journeys and to figure things out for themselves, so I never want to sit on some sort of a throne demanding and commanding people never use a Ouija board because I say so. Because at the end of the day, I'm just some girl you're watching on your TV or your computer or your mobile phone, and I mean, you're allowed to do whatever you want. With that being said though, and with my understanding of the fact that there are still going to be people who choose to play with Ouija boards, I know some of you do, and I know that some of you don't find them to be negative in the slightest, which is totally okay. So I thought, you know what? Because I know that some of you play with them, because I know that some of you are curious and will play with one, I should make a video on the rules of a Ouija board that you should never ever break. These rules are very serious. I know there's a lot of people who think that Ouija boards are just a game, but trust me, if you could learn anything from me, I just hope it's that you know whether or not you choose to play with one, that they are not a joke, and there are definitely some rules that should be followed very strictly. So for today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through some of the very serious rules of a Ouija board that you should never break, and then I'm going to share with you guys a couple of warning signs that your Ouija board session is going wrong. So without further ado, I'm going to quit the rambling, we're going to get into this video, and we're going to talk about this because I know that yes, there are people who have wonderful experiences with Ouija boards, and I am by no means discrediting that. There are people who have contacted some of the most evil, negative, and demonic presences through a Ouija board, and there are people who have actually gotten possessed all because they didn't properly follow these rules and they didn't take it serious enough. So the very first rule that you should never ever break with a Ouija board is to always be respectful of the spirits. You really don't know who you're contacting. You really don't know who you're allowing to take physical control of your hands on the planchette and move around the board. So you never want to make a mockery of any spirit. I highly suggest this in any time that I talk about contacting any sort of spirit. You want to be respectful of the spirit world. You never want to go into something taunting, mocking, or making a joke or degrading any sort of spirit, because not only do you not know who you're contacting, but you also don't understand what they're capable of, and you don't want to make the mistake of taunting something that is capable of more than you could have ever imagined. The second rule that I'm going to talk about is really important not to break, and that is to never use a Ouija board when you are ill or weak-minded. And what I mean by this is if you are physically sick, you have the flu, a cold, anything that makes you weaker than normal, or weak-minded in the sense you're extremely depressed, you're not strong-minded in that point in time, and you feel very broken down. The reasoning for this is because you are more open to possession if you are weaker, if you are physically ill, if you are not mentally ill, but in a very negative mental headspace. You don't have that strong barrier to be able to keep things out, and it's much easier for you to therefore become possessed. So definitely do not play with a Ouija board unless you are in a good state of mind and you are physically healthy. While we're on the topic of avoiding possession, I do want to say definitely do not ever play a Ouija board alone. You are way more receptive to things taking advantage of, possessing, or harming you when you play by yourself. It is very strongly warned against. As tempting as it may be, don't play it alone. And yet again, while we are on the concept of possession and bringing on evil spirits, you should never ever play with a Ouija board in a cemetery. That is one of the biggest rules. It is one of the quickest ways to attract negative and evil spirits into your reality. You are more prone to possession, and you are just prone to a negative experience if you play with a Ouija board in a cemetery. So do not do that. As much as it sounds like it would be one of the best places to get the best results, there are spirits everywhere. You do not need to go to a cemetery if you're planning on playing with one, and you are strongly advised not to. This next rule is a rule that I actually didn't know when I first started venturing into sharing Ouija board stories, and that is to never burn a Ouija board. I always personally thought that burning a Ouija board disposed of it, but burning a Ouija board actually aggravates and lets all of the spirits that have been played with in that board out into your reality, into the reality of the space, and into our dimension. And you definitely do not want to do that. That is not how to properly dispose of one. Never burn a Ouija board. This next rule is a rule that my friend Mona broke while I was there and they played with the Ouija board, and her life has been filled with torment from a particular evil spirit ever since. So definitely do not break this rule, and that is, do not stop playing without properly closing out the board by saying goodbye. My friends got so freaked out, they, honest to goodness, you guys, just stopped playing with the board. They didn't say goodbye, and therefore that spirit that they were contacting, which actually so happened to be something incredibly evil, stayed in her room, stayed in her life, stayed opened. That portal was still opened. It was never closed, and it caused something that you would think of in a nightmare. So never ever stop playing the board without properly saying goodbye. This next rule is something that I also didn't know about because I've never ever thought about playing with one, but this is strongly suggested and thrown out there. Never let a spirit count down the numbers or carry you through each letter of the alphabet, because the way the game works is that this can actually allow them to escape the board, and it typically is a really serious sign that you are contacting something evil, demonic, negative, or something that wants to cause you harm or torment you. So anytime that you feel the Ouija board going down the number scale or going through the letters, you need to close out the board, you need to say goodbye, and you need to stop playing with that. I'm really advising this. If you guys are gonna play with a Ouija board, which I highly suggest you don't in the first place, but if you are going to, you definitely want to make sure that you're doing it in the safest way possible and you are looking out for the warning signs. And one of the final very serious rules, this isn't all of them, but these are the main ones to really protect you and your safety while playing with one, is never leave a planchette, or the planchette, sorry, on the board when you are not playing with it. So never leave the board there and leave the planchette on top of it. This is a very bad thing to do. There are tons of people who have done this and wound up allowing things into their reality that they really didn't mean to and didn't want to. And so if you are done playing with your Ouija board, never leave the planchette sitting on top of it while you are not playing with it. Now I'm going to share with you guys 3 signs that your Ouija board session is going horribly wrong or has gone horribly wrong. So if you notice these warning signs, you can hopefully decide to stop playing with it or definitely close out the board and leave. So the first kind of touches back to the rule of never letting it go through the letters of the alphabet and go down through the numbers. If it starts to do that, that's a sign that you've contacted something very evil or demonic. On that note, if the planchette starts moving to the 4 corners of the board and it continuously does this, that is a sign that you have also contacted something evil or demonic. And on that note, yet again, if the planchette starts to do a figure 8, that is another serious sign that you have contacted something evil or demonic, and you must close out the board, stop playing. Just trust me on that, you guys. It is a very bad sign if you are playing and these things happen. You do not want to further communicate with something like this. Trust me, you do not. Another sign that things are going horribly wrong is if the planchette falls off of the board or goes flying across the room. When something is able to get the planchette to fall off of the board. When the planchette comes off of the board, that is also a sign that something is escaping, and it is a pretty serious sign that it is something evil or demonic. And a third sign that something is going horribly wrong while you are playing is if time goes missing. So if you're playing with the board and it feels like you've been playing for 10 minutes and you look at the clock and you've been playing for 3 hours, something has altered your state of mind, something has altered your reality. And a lot of the times the things that want to do that or are able to do that are not a positive spirit. If time is going missing while you are playing with this board, or you don't recall things while you're playing with the board, it could actually also be a sign of possession, because in that time where you don't physically remember all those hours passing, something could have taken you over. So if time has gone missing, close out the board, and I really would advise that you don't play with it again. The only reason that I've even chosen to do this video is because I want to be able to help people who maybe want to have experiences of their own and are going to play with a Ouija board, regardless of people warning against it. And I think that it's really important that if you are going to utilize this board, you take it seriously in the sense that it's not just some game, even though you can buy it at Toys R Us, and that it's actually a tool and a portal into a dimension that you may not fully understand, and that you really need to be safe while doing it. So if you are going to play with a Ouija board, and I hope you don't, but if you are, I would really strongly advise that you never break the rules that I just shared with you, that you take it seriously, that you pay attention to warning signs that things could be going horribly wrong, and that you could be contacting something negative or evil or something that wants to cause you harm. Well, you guys, that is basically it for today's video. If you're wondering what the heck has been on my head this whole time, I took my dog to go get his nails trimmed today, and it was pretty cold out, so I threw on this like ear warmer, and when I went to take it off to get ready to film, I had like an indentation from it on my head. So I was like, you know what? It's Christmas time, it's Reese-mas, I'm just gonna rock it. So that is what that is. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope that it helps those of you who maybe wanted to know some rules not to break, or just wanted to learn a little bit more about the Ouija board, even if you aren't going to play with it. And I guess that's basically it for today's video. I do want to mention you don't want to miss out on tomorrow's video, because I'm going to be announcing some Christmas giveaways. And one of the giveaways is winning FaceTime calls with me. So I'm really excited about it. Definitely make sure to tune in to tomorrow's video, or every video of Reese-mas. And on that note, if you are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed, hi, please go ahead and click that subscribe button if you do enjoy it. I love this family so ridiculously much. That doesn't even make sense. I love this family so much, and it means the absolute world to me when I see us growing. So please do that if you did enjoy it. And if you did enjoy it, like I just said 5 times, please give this video a big thumbs up. It makes my heart super happy when you guys do that, and it encourages me to keep on making these videos. And honestly, that's my favorite thing in the world to do. So if you did enjoy it, please do that. And also, don't forget to let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these Ouija board rules, and if you've had any of these negative things happen or experiences. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.